Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Random Crafty X. I just spent like 15 minutes doing a video without starting the camera. I actually, I had taken a picture, and so I thought, and I had to do something with the camera and that I record with. And anyway, this is day 13. That's probably why this happened. So I'm going to like kind of back step here, and we'll just kind of pretend that, okay, so what I did was I opened day 13 by taking this out, and I looked on the back and I went, ooh, look, this is an embossing folder. So I took this out and I took this out of the plastic, okay? All right, and then I set this aside. And then the next thing I did was I loaded up my mat here, my sandwich to go into the Big Shot. This is not the first video I've done today. I'm trying to kind of get ahead here. All right, so I had to take my magic mat out because these are really thick. All right, and so I put this in. Okay, and we'll just go ahead and make two just in case something else goes haywire. And because they're thick, one of the things that it helps you to do is to set it sideways. All right, so for some reason, for most of these machines, it makes that a little bit easier. So I went in one and then cranked it on the way back out. Yeah, that was exciting. I was getting ready to pause the video only to realize that the video was already paused. Okay, so then we set this aside and we have this here. I got my green mat out. I think we're almost caught back up to where I thought I was. I'm going to set those aside to go in my diary that I'm keeping of this. I decided that I'm going to use a method that I used on this, where I cut the strip and I put it down the side on a card. Okay, so this will go on the back. This is a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 on a A2 size card. That is, yes, in fact, 4 1/8. I'm double checking everything now. Okay, and I'm going to pull a die out from the previous, one of the previous videos. I'm going to pull this flowered one out here, and we're going to make it out of red to go on the front here with the black happy birthday lettering. All right, so we're going to put the magic mat back in. I don't die cut without a magic mat. Because I used to go through so many of these, and now the clear ones, because if you don't use something like a magic mat, they warp. I did everything that I heard everybody say. Oh, you should flip them and you turn them, over and then the other direction, and you have to change them every time. And I tried everything I could think of, and it just, I was just, it was just a lot of money and a lot of frustration. Okay, this has come out of there just fine. Probably could have done two. Yeah, let's go ahead and make a second one. And to speed this up a little bit, we'll go ahead and lay our flower down. I'm getting ready to show you something else about working with this kind of paper. Yeah, I'll need this. That might work. That's the same color. And this is just a little darker. That will work. Okay. We're going to make, if you remember, if you look, this goes in behind here. So we're going to put the lighter one in the front and the dark one in the back. And we need a little piece of green. We'll just lay this. It can hang off the edge here. Okay. I'm sorry, you did not see me load any of that. Okay, so what I did was, what I'm doing is I'm working with scraps. Okay. And I'm putting this over here. And we're going to make the flower that goes in the center, and so we're going to crank it a couple of times. Yeah, I've been doing these in sequence. 9 was the little sparkle stones. I never use those. I don't in my card making. 10 was an odd stamp that didn't make a lot of sense to me. 11 was 10 was a die that was, I think it was toast is what I finally figured out that it was, which I have come up with an idea for, and when you look back, you'll find, okay, this is the first 12 days. Set these over here. We're going to have to get out my craft knife to get that to disconnect. I don't usually have that issue. I'll clean that up in a minute. This is my working mat that I get from the Dollar Tree, my local Dollar Tree, for $1.25. Okay, all right, well, let's lay all the flower parts over here. We need that. Okay, now we're at the point where I was gonna pause the video. I think I am gonna run this just on black. So I will line this up so that it leaves just a little bit of a border along there. Same thing up here at the top. All right. And there's a little bit of a border at the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to set this piece aside in case something about this goes haywire. All right, this is, oh, that needs to be thinner. Never, under any circumstances, take this guard off. I tried that once. You know, I was doing like what I'm doing here, and it's right at the edge. And I thought, wow, this would be easier if I take that off. And I just almost cut myself. And the thing you find out is that that's why some of those things are on there, is to protect us from ourselves. Okay, this is white core paper, and this is the advantage to working with white core paper. Because there is the embossed edge, okay, you can work with this is a sand block. We got it at, my husband helped me get this. We got it at one of the hardware type of stores. It works best it has worked best for me if I work at an angle. But see, it adds an interesting, okay. So you get kind of a polka dotty kind of thing going there. Now what I did on this one, oh, you get red stuff all over your hands if you're working on red. What I did with this one was I used a blending brush and I ink blended on top of it, right? So you got this. What I've done on this is I've pulled part of this off, and that makes it look kind of cream-ish underneath there. So let's see if this looks the way I think it's going to look. Okay. All right, so we're going to lay that on here. Now, I had planned on using black on here, hadn't I? And that's not going to work. All right, so we will have to cut this happy birthday out of red. Okay, well, let's go ahead and make the flower before we jump back in and see if the flower looks, oh yeah, we're gonna like this. Okay, so what we did with the flower last time, and I don't remember what day this was in the advent calendar. We slid that up. Okay, and then we're going to use that to cut happy birthday out of. Here's the other thing. You can see through here. So if I lay this on here, you're going to see the black through there. The other thing I can do is I can just cut a piece along here, so then you don't see the black through there. So we're just gonna cut the piece that would go behind there. And we're gonna try it just to see if we decide we like it. I'm gonna have to cut a little bigger piece. I think I kind of like seeing the black in behind it. Okay, and then this green goes here. All right, let's try. I'm trying to think if I've got a stamp for something else to put on the card, like a thinking of you, but I'm pretty sure that the thinking of you stuff I've got is too big. So I am going to pause this video and just take a quick look. Okay, I found one. I hadn't used it in a while. So I'm going to cut them both, because remember, I've got two of these. And then that way I can make a second card. And I can't remember how well this one cuts, so we're gonna crank it back and forth multiple times. And I think this one is what was referred to as the black one was referred to as, not the black, the Thinking of You was referred to as a shadow die, which means that there's a piece that I could cut that goes in behind it, but I don't, if I remember right, which sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, I don't think I have to have that. If there's something, I don't know how you store your dies and stamps and things, but if there's something about them that is like unusual or that, you know, because I've got a lot of stuff, it really does help to go ahead and put a note in wherever you're storing them. Like I noticed when I was looking through my stuff, starting to plan Christmas, that I've got, it's a really beautiful set that makes poinsettias. And in it, there's a note that says, edges of dies are extremely sharp. It's like, really? Okay. Oh, I think I like that, don't you? Where are you? Wouldn't it be nice if you were right here and you could just help me with this? Okay, let's glue. Whenever I'm gluing using anything that's been embossed, I go pretty heavy on the glue because I don't know why, but it always tends to. And then I can use one of the edges there. And I use a wet glue so that I've got what is commonly referred to as wiggle room. Okay, and then, okay, typically I would have another layer in here, but and looking at the next card I make, with this, I may do that. Since this breaks down to cream, I may put a cream in there. Okay. So in this one, I combined things that I had in my stash with something from the earlier in the Advent calendar to create a card. I stamp, all of my cards are donated to Cards for Kindness unless there's something that I send to family or friend. I stamp the back of my cards with the stamp that my granddaughter designed and gifted to me. Random Acts of Kindness Studios, which is why my page is under Random Crafty Acts. I do not have a studio in that I do not sell what I make. I donate or gift, and but my studio, as we have always talked about, is on the side of my husband's workshop. So I'm very fortunate to have dedicated space. Okay, so we ended up with this card. That's not too bad. We're going to lay this here. Where did my... Let's put this. This turned out better than I thought it might have, considering that we seem to have like totally laid our I'm just fiddling around here, as you can hear. I've set the actual emboss. Hey, Random Crafty Axe. This is known as, I'm working on the Spellbinders Advent Calendar. It's right here. Okay. This is day 13. A couple things about day 13. This is, I think, like the third, maybe, video involved. Day 13 is this beautiful embossing folder. The first time through, I was working on it and it was going pretty well. At least I, felt like it was. And then when I pause the video, I have to stand up and reach up over the top here to do something with the, to hit the pause button. And it's when I realized that the video wasn't on. Excuse me. So then the next thing I did was, and you'll see clips of it edited in here. I stepped back in and I did some work with the kind of trying to make up for that and fix it and all of that. And I have a new setup where I've got over here to my left, there's a screen, so I can actually see like my hands, and I can see that I'm in frame and all of this amazing stuff. I mean, it's just really fantastic. Yeah. And it works great as long as I make sure that that I've turned on this power strip, which I thought I had, but you'll see the part in the video where all of a sudden it disconnects. So I'm having some coffee. All of a sudden it goes dark, and that's when the phone had run out of energy. So I went ahead and I finished the card, and I really liked the way it turned out. There were a couple of things I noticed as I was working with removing the ink from the paper, is that it's not actually, well, it is kind of white in underneath. But, so I thought I'd just kind of, chat with you a little bit. As I'm finishing this and choking, obviously. Welcome to Random Crafty Acts. My name is Barb. I'm working on the Spellbinders Advent Calendar. You're going to see bits and pieces of video following this. In what was quite a disastrous attempt, actually, today to record the video of me making this card. This is what was behind door 13. Okay, here's the picture. Here's the embossing folder. Here's what it looks like when you emboss it. And I had a really good time doing it. The video, like I did the video first and then realized the tape wasn't, the video wasn't running. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Then I set it up and I did it again, which you'll see in the clip that follows. I did it again, and then, and then it, the next thing that went wrong was that I've got this setup where I've got a screen and there's a power strip that has to be on because otherwise the phone that I'm using to do my recording with just basically runs out of power completely. And which it did because I hadn't turned the power strip on. Yeah, so it was just like a whole series of things that just kept going wrong. And I think I'm going to blame it on the idea that this was number 13, because I can't think of anything else to blame it on. Okay, so I'm going to make yet another, I think I'm going to try to make another one of these flowers. I, this time, am going to pause the video to do that. And then you'll see that part being completed, and then you'll see the rest of the fiasco just for your viewing enjoyment. Well, I finished my coffee. Okay, I've just dug through my scraps and found the pieces that I need. I realized in the previous video I lined a bunch of stuff up on here and didn't film it for you. I don't typically edit my videos, so what will follow this is kind of a rare occurrence. I haven't watched it to see just, how delightfully messy it turned out to be. Okay, so we're going to set this piece over here. And what we're basically trying to do is maximize using our scraps. I'm working on a magic mat. I never die cut anymore without one. I think I've got 2 or 3 dies that I have to use like this heavier metal plate on, but for the most part, the magic mat works for me because I don't have to see that moving. I should tape that down. Okay, so the magic mat works because otherwise I go through a lot of these clear plates. It's the day after Thanksgiving. We got up this morning and it was 23 degrees outside. We're in southern Illinois, and we're supposed to get, I don't know, it depends on which weather news you are into listening to. I'm hearing anything from a little bit of snow turning to rain and 1 to 3 inches. I mean, we're not known, or we haven't been in the past known for getting a lot of snow. we're all stocked up, so I'm not worried about it. We've got an errand to run this afternoon. We're waiting on a package to be delivered. And then once that happens, we'll go run our errand. And I'm almost out of frame. I'm sorry. I'm just using my vintage pokey tool here to clear things out. All right, so let's follow our protocol by we keep all of our dies in that as we go. And then let's get these out of here. Okay, and we'll finish building the front of this card. I'm going to use my reversible tweezers to hold this. This is a die from an old set. It's on a magnetic sheet that is labeled words. But everything on there is happy birthday oriented, so I'm assuming that's what I got. The other thing that I'm finding in actually working with a advent calendar and trying to make something besides just like a series of little cards that have the things on them, to actually make something with them can be kind of challenging. Day 9, I think I mentioned this in the piece of video that will follow. Day 9 was the little jewelry stones, embellishment stones that I don't use those. Day 10 was a die that I had a fit figuring out what it actually was. And I think it turned out to be, I know this sounds crazy, but it's really cute. And you'll see later, in this video series somewhere, a card that I did finally go back and make. I think it's Dancing Toast. And it wasn't until day 11, when I got these stamps, that I realized what I could actually make with a couple of pieces of Dancing Toast. Okay, so since this is going this way, I'm going to set this one this way. I'm working with Bearly Arts glue. I always work with liquid glue, and see that it dries pretty much clear. All right, and then I flip this over, and I put my scissors right against there, and I go across. Okay. And then this gets glued on a card front, and that's got some, I buy those at the my local Dollar Tree for $1.25. I have a whole stack of them, some of them in worse shape than others, and there's always one in there that has a tag on it that says, "Keep this clean." And I use it when I'm trying to work with a grid. Okay. I donate, I don't sell my cards. I donate my cards, or they go to family and friends. And this is the stamp that my granddaughter designed and gifted to me. It says Random Acts of Kindness Studios. And the reference to a studio is my room that I'm fortunate to have off my husband's workshop. Okay. My cards are donated to Cards for Kindness, which is where these will be going. And they had said on their website, there'll be a link to them below. They had said on their website that they're looking for happy birthday cards is one of the things they're looking for. Okay? Oh, excuse me. I've got an itch in my throat. Okay, day 13. The specifics of like taking it out of the container, all the other fun things that I do will be there probably right up until the moment when like the video cuts off. But that's what you'll see next. I hope you'll keep coming back. I'm planning on doing the whole series, which we're halfway. This was the middle point, which is probably why I had so much trouble, I guess. Thanks for watching, and do stay tuned and see the rest of it.